Hi class, my name is Nelly House, and this is my presentation on the Tuskegee syphilis study and how it impacted medical research ethically, legally, and the social impacts that are still felt today. In 1932, the start of the Tuskegee syphilis study began. It all took place at the Tuskegee Institute in Macomb, Alabama. This study, originally titled Untreated Syphilis in the Negro Male, consisted of 600 black males, 399 of which were infected with syphilis, while the other 201 were not infected with syphilis. No informed consent was obtained for this study. Participants only knew that they were being treated for bad blood. Participants' incentives were free expert health care, free meals, and burial insurance. In 1943, penicillin, the cure for this syphilis virus, was discovered. In 1972, the study was finally deemed ethically unjustified as the participants were not being treated fairly and getting the cure, which was penicillin. And the ad hoc advisory panel put an end to the study. In 1973, the class action lawsuit was filed, resulting in a $10 million settlement that went to the participants and their families. In 1997, President Bill Clinton issued a formal presidential apology for this unjust and unethical study that took place under the U.S. government's watch. There were several violations of law and ethics that took place during this Tuskegee study. The lack of informed consent, which in order to gain informed consent, the participant needs to have thorough communication, understanding, the capacity to understand, the volunteerness, and documentation of the informed consent. There was a blatant disregard for beneficence, which means that the physicians did not do everything in their power to make sure that they were giving the most adequate and good faith treatment to the study participants. Racial and social economical discrimination was very heavily present in this study. Being that the subjects were all black males, mostly sharecroppers, with an education that was not up to the standards of the average American. Negligence of care was prevalent throughout this study. Being that there was a cure out there in the 1940s and the study continued, that showed a blatant disregard for providing care to the patients and to the study participants, resulting in pure negligence during the study. Lack of full disclosure regarding the nature of the study and the disease was also present throughout this study. Participants did not know the severity of the disease. They didn't know necessarily that they had syphilis. They just knew that they had, quote unquote, bad blood. And that could include anemia, it could include syphilis, or other various blood diseases. In this slide, I would like to bring attention to the definition of medical malpractice. An act or omission by a physician during treatment of a patient that deviates from accepted norms of practice in medical community and causes an injury to the patient. That by definition is medical malpractice. There are 4 elements to present in a medical malpractice case. First one is that the existence of legal duty for the physician to provide care or treatment to the patient. The second is a breach of the duty by failure of the treating physician to adhere to the professional standards of care. Third is a notable relationship of the breach of care and injury to the patient. And fourth is the presence of damages that flow from the injury that the legal system can provide redress to. How the Tuskegee study launched change in medical research. In 1974, the National Research Act was signed. This signing into law created the National Commission for Protection of Human Subjects of Biomedical and Behavioral Research. The group identified basic principles of research conduct and suggests ways to ensure those principles be followed. In 1974, researchers required to obtain voluntary informed consent. Institutional review boards must review all studies using the human subjects. In 1979, the Belmont Report was put into place, stating all are to respect the person, practice beneficence, and show justice in each research study. In 1991, federal policy for the protection of human subjects was adopted into 16 federal departments and agencies. In 1995, National Bioethic Advisory Commission, created by President Bill Clinton, was put into place. And this put forth in 2001 President's Council of Bioethics, and in 2009 Presidential Commission for the Study of Bioethic Issues. Although there were so many great efforts that happened after such a tragic case study, there is still social impact that is plaguing the African American community today. Mistrust remains among the Black community and in medicine. Black individuals living in counties within 750 miles of the Tuskegee area were slower to get vaccinations compared to white individuals in the same county, and even compared to other Black communities who lived in other regions of the U.S., where perhaps the memory of Tuskegee is less alive. These individuals in this area were less likely to get the COVID vaccine, to be specific. And this is all stemming from the horrific impact of the Tuskegee study that was done unjustly and unethically. In conclusion, the Tuskegee syphilis study was an unfortunate result of the lack of human respect regarding their civil, legal, and ethical rights. Although it has sparked motion of legal and ethical changes, the repercussions of this study's medical mistreatment and mistrust still haunts the Black community in present times. Rectification of this healthcare barrier will require ongoing efforts from the medical professional community, with hopes of building a nation consistent in healthcare equality and safety. Thank you all for watching my presentation, and in the next slide you will be able to observe the references that was used for this presentation. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.